Welcome to The Word Around Town, a podcast dedicated to all things happening in Northwest Indiana. I'm Steve Jamrock with Realty Executives Premier, and I'm excited to bring you this inaugural podcast where we're going to talk about all things local happening in Northwest Indiana, from events and happenings to new businesses and old businesses, local sports, local music, you name it. If it's happening in Northwest Indiana, I want to talk about it with you. So I've been toying with this idea for a while now. I get questions all the time from friends and family and relatives who are, clients. Hey, Steve, what's happening over here? What's being built over there? Is anything going to happen behind me if I buy this lot? So that, along with the frustration of local media fading away, and it's not a shot on local media, it's just a sign of the times as their budgets get cut and everything moves to a social platform like this. And social media is great, but it's also difficult to navigate at times when you're trying to find a particular information about local news. There's so many different platforms and so many different community groups to go and search through. So I wanted to come up and kind of bring everything under one umbrella here for you guys. And I thought that this podcast would be the best way to do that. So whether you're a lifelong resident of Northwest Indiana like myself, or whether you just moved here recently, or if you're thinking about moving here in the future, you can come here, check it out. I hope to do this weekly for you guys, so you can get all your news and information about what's happening in Northwest Indiana and find out, if you're, again, thinking about moving here, why it's such a great place to live. And I want to keep this interactive as well for you guys. So with that said, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're curious about. If you see something out there that you have questions about in Northwest Indiana, or if you have suggestions on how to better the podcast, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Love to have your questions. I want to know what's interesting to you. And with that said, if this is your first time here, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Also share this with any of your friends or family or anybody you know who may be interested in hearing and talking about Northwest Indiana. So kind of the format of what I have planned here. And again, this is going to change, and this is my first time doing this, so if it's a little clunky, I apologize. I will get better and smoother as we go along and we get more practice here. But we'll talk a little bit about real estate, give you a quick update on what's happening in our market. We'll then go into kind of the happenings of Northwest Indiana, what's being built, what's coming in, anything I think you guys might be interested in, new restaurants, anything I've tried recently, maybe talk about the outdoors a little bit, local sports, we'll get into that some as well, and then we'll finish up with weekend events, kind of a weekend recap, so you can get out there and enjoy all the great communities here in Northwest Indiana, and you kind of know what's going on. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a step back and look at our real estate market here in Northwest Indiana, because we are in a new month. Hard to believe, September 3rd already. Time really flies, man. And, kids are back in school. I just took our two oldest kids, moved them into college. Hard to believe that I have two in college already and one more still in high school. But man, time really flies as things get going along here. So our real estate market, though, it's still going really strong. Still a lot of buyer demand out there. We're still struggling with inventory. It's kind of the same old news that we've heard. But we really had a really great June and July, really great summer here in Northwest Indiana real estate. Definitely need more homes on the market to kind of help with that demand. But with that said, as we move into September, we have seen a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a deceleration in our market as buyers are kind of pausing a little bit, for lack of a better word. It'll be interesting to watch as we move forward. Traditionally, this is a little bit of a slow time in our market as people unwind from the summer. Again, kids are back in school, and we're just kind of trying to put our lives back together as we head in the fall. And then traditionally, we'll pick up a little bit towards the end of September, and October is traditionally a pretty solid month as well. So it'll be interesting to see if this is a market shift as we slow down, or if this is just a traditional slowdown as the end of summer arrives here. Looking at the numbers right now here in Northwest Indiana, though, like I said, we still have very strong buyer demand out there. They're just being not as motivated as they once were. They're making sure that all the boxes are checked on the houses they want before they make a move. So again, they're being patient, but they're out there and they're very strong. So if you're thinking about selling, it's still a good time to sell. The median sales price right now in Northwest Indiana, again, this is for all of Northwest Indiana that our multiple listing service covers, is $290,000. The median price per square foot on a home is $196 per square foot. We have a median days on market of 16 days. So that is through the end of August. So yeah, houses are still moving quickly. In comparison, I think in June and July, we saw the median days on market around 10 to 12 days. So we're up to 16 days still quickly, but you can see that there is a little bit of a slowdown happening there. Homes on the market, this one is interesting. While we are still seeing less than a 3-month supply of homes on the market, that means if no new homes came on the market, the existing inventory would be sold with less than 3 months. So that traditionally means that we still have a very active market going on. But we are seeing the highest number of homes on the market since 2022. Now, that's not saying a lot because we didn't have a high inventory back in 2022. But what is interesting is that we are seeing a lot more new construction out there, and a lot of the home buyers who can't find a home that they're looking for are getting motivated to move towards the new construction homes on the market. So again, our real estate market is still going very strong. We haven't seen the slowdowns that some of our large metro areas are seeing. I anticipate that our market is going to continue to go strong. It just will be interesting to watch how strong we're going to move into the fall months. So what is new in Northwest Indiana? Well, there's a lot of new developments, a lot of exciting things happening. First thing I want to talk about, this one just came across yesterday. I thought it was interesting. We're going to start in Lake County and in St. John in particular, on the corner of, that would be the southeast corner of 231 and Parish. Latitude Commercial Real Estate just announced a new retail development there that they signed up. It's going to be a retail strip mall, kind of anchored with a national coffee shop. Now, again, they didn't put the name out there yet because those details aren't announced, but when you think about a national branded coffee shop, when those words are used, you could kind of start speculating who it's probably going to be there. So that's a new development there on 231 and Parish. Staying in St. John as we head north on 41, St. John finally did it. They're going to go ahead and get rid of the long-standing eyesore of the Kmart Plaza on the west side of 41, almost in downtown St. John. It is going to become a Jewel grocery store, so a strong anchor coming into that plaza. I know a lot of you out there were hoping for some other things other than a grocery store to come in there, but nothing wrong with Jewel. Gives you a great option to go out there and another option for you to shop for your groceries there in St. John, and it's a strong brand, a strong anchor to have there in a long vacant eyesore along 41 there. So just curious though, what some of your thoughts were that may have went in there, what you wanted to see that go into that building there on 41. Leave them in the comments below there for me. As we continue north on 41, we're going to go into Schererville. A new restaurant came into the old Northwoods building called 41 North. It's a restaurant, bar, and live entertainment venue. Really excited about this one. I have not been there yet personally. If you've been there, please let me know what you think in the comments below. It looks awesome. I was really excited that they're kind of keeping the rustic look, kept the building the same as it was kind of when it was Northwoods. And more importantly, I'm excited that they're keeping the live music aspect going, because we got a lot of great live music here in Northwest Indiana. And I think that we need more live music venues throughout the communities here so that these bands can get out there and perform in front of us. But 41 North on Schererville, new restaurant, bar, tavern, live music scene. Check it out. I'm going to get there soon. And again, if you've been there, let me know your thoughts in the comments there. Also in Schererville, the Schererville YMCA is expanding into the old Jack's Warehouse spot. So for those of you new to the area, the Schererville YMCA is on 41. It's took over the old Omni Fitness Center off of Wood Hollow, and Jack's Warehouse was a family entertainment complex at the front of that complex there that went out of business not long ago. And the South Lake YMCA is now taking over that spot and expanding their fitness center in there as well to give more options to their members. Now, I want to talk real quick about the YMCAs here in Northwest Indiana and just the incredible jobs that they're doing of just becoming positive community impacts that they're bringing to our communities. You know, I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago that the YMCAs rebranded into the Crossroads YMCA, and they started to buy up and bring together all the local YMCAs. So I think it started in Crown Point, and then they went out and they merged with Hammond, and then Hobart, and then Valpo, and now Schererville. Now they're getting ready to break ground on a destination YMCA in Gary as well, in a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club there. And the YMCAs, they're not only just taking over and managing them, but they're reinvesting into them and making them destinations and making them just, again, the community impact that we're seeing from these YMCAs is tremendous, not only for the member standpoint, but from people moving to the area and the services that they provide. They're improving property values by having these awesome destination-wise in these areas. So tip of the cap, hats off to the Crossroads YMCA for doing such a fantastic job and making such a positive community impact. All right, going to go into Portage now. Going to talk about Portage, Indiana. We'll get into a little development here, but I want to talk about Portage in general. And it really is, I hate to say it's an up-and-coming market because all of our markets have been really, really strong here over the last few years. But Portage in particular of late, it wasn't necessarily a late bloomer, but you could still find what relative affordable housing. And when I say relative affordable housing, you know, as you look into St. John or Schererville or Crown Point or Valparaiso, where prices just really skyrocketed, Valpo increased, just not at the pace that we saw in some of these other communities. So you still had affordable starter style homes in Portage. Well, here recently, values have taken off in Portage. So if you are a homeowner in Portage, if you haven't checked your home's value in a while or your equity position, you might want to do that. And we're seeing a lot of new construction coming to Portage now. And along with that, more commercial development as well, as Target recently announced that they're going to break ground on a new Target store on the corner of US 6 and Airport Road. That is going to be across the street from the Kohl's that is already there. So that is really exciting for Portage. You know, these national brands like that, when they go into these communities, they're not looking at communities that are on the downturn. They're looking at communities that are on the upturn. And that is definitely Portage right now. So it'll be very interesting and fun to watch Portage over the next couple of years. I think there's a tremendous potential for growth in the Portage market. Over to Michigan City. This is another awesome market that's just been poised for a breakout. And we're starting to see that as they finally are embracing what they should be, and that is a resort community. It really started as they started revitalizing their downtown into kind of a little arts district, starting to get more restaurants and brew pubs in the area. But the really cool development that's coming to Michigan City, it's something that we have not seen in Northwest Indiana. It's called SOLA, S-O-L-A. It stands for South of the Lake. It is a resort / retail / hotel destination luxury development. It's going to be tremendous. When you see the renderings, you're just like, man, you're blown away. This is something that's typically reserved for large cities. But this is going to be a luxury condo complex, views overlooking the lake. When I say luxury condos are going to be starting, I think prices are starting around $500,000 and going up from there. But they're also going to be strongly encouraged to allow short-term rentals of these units. So for people who want to come in, buy a second home, and then rent it out as short-term rentals, they come in for the weekend, spend their time at the lake or in the Michigan City, and then they come back, and then they can rent it out when they're not there. So a really interesting development. And before you say, man, Steve, nobody's going to buy those units. Well, they're already 30% sold out, and they haven't even broke ground yet. So there is definitely interest in these units. It's going to be really cool to watch what happens there in Michigan City. The other interesting big part of this development is, there's going to be the condos and townhomes. There's also going to be retail involved in there on the lower partial. And then part of that development is also going to be a Renaissance hotel. So it's, again, really lending to kind of a resort style vibe and community there in Michigan City. They're going to do kayak rentals and bike rentals and just a really cool resort vibe of what Michigan City should be, and taking full advantage of that awesome lakefront that we have here in Northwest Indiana. So check it out. Look up SOLA, SOLA. If you have any interest at all, again, hit the comments. Be glad to talk to you more about SOLA and Michigan City. All right. Finally, we're going to come back to Crown Point and just a little quick blurb about my hometown here. Recently, they finished up and reopened Sowerman Woods Park. This was it's the site of the old Hub Pool. A lot of people were disappointed that they closed and tore down the Hub Pool. I had a lot of great times with my family back there in the day when they were younger as well, but what they built there is just tremendous. So they tore out the Hub Pool, tore up the park, and they created just this fantastic new park for our city. It's centered around this beautiful pond with a walking path around it, a large playground. There's, I think, 6 pickleball courts. It's six or 9 sand volleyball courts, a picnic shelter. It is really beautiful. You have to check it out if you haven't done so yet. I know those of you that are upset about the Hub Pool, it's okay. Once you go here, you'll be like, wow, this is really, really a cool development to have in Crown Point. So that's Sowerman Woods Park. Get out there. It's a half-mile walking path around the pond. Just a great place if you get out there early enough, catch the sunrise. Really beautiful. All right. Catching up now on what's happening on this weekend. It's going to be a little cool this weekend, a little bit of a cool down, but it should be beautiful still to get out there and check out some great things happening in our Northwest Indiana communities. I want to start with tomorrow, Thursday, September 4th. Over at Bulldog Park, Hometown Jams is bringing in Kip Moore, national recording artist there. And guys, if you have not checked out a Hometown Jams production yet, I strongly recommend it. They are bringing in some amazing national acts to our local communities, and you get a chance to see these amazing musicians in these small, intimate venues, whether it's Bulldog Park in Crown Point or the Hobart Arts Center or Central Park in Valparaiso. To be able to see the quality of these musicians up close in an intimate venue and with the quality of the professional sound that they put out there, it is awesome. So if you haven't caught a Hometowns Jam production yet, I highly recommend it. And you can still catch it tomorrow, Thursday, September 4th at Bulldog Park is Kip Moore. September 5th, is Party in the Park at Lemon Lake Park. It's a family fun event from 4 to 6 p.m. Go to the Lake County website, check out for more details there. But again, that's Party in the Park, the second annual one at Lemon Lake County Park in Crown Point. September 6th in Valparaiso is the Popcorn Fest, everyone's favorite time of year, September event in Valparaiso, the Popcorn Fest. A really great time. A lot of food, a lot of happenings. The Popcorn Panic 5K kicks it off during the day. Then you can go out there, check out live music, food. Just a really great time to hang out, catch up with people and friends in the community. Also, September 6th in Whiting is the Empanada Fest. And leave it to Whiting to always celebrate food. From the Pierogi Fest in July to the Empanada Fest here in September. I've not been to the Empanada Fest, but it sounds delicious. So if you have been, love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. Again, guys, this is my first time out here. I appreciate it. If you are still hanging out here listening, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Again, I'll check in with you next week again with more news and updates. And just to follow up, if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or what you want to hear, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching. This was The Word Around Town. I'm Steve Jamrock. We'll talk to you next week.